Hey guys, we are back with some more MODO Hockey, Eastside Hockey Manager, and in this one, we are going to be doing the round robin tournament for year number 3, I believe it is, we are in now. And in the round robin tournament, we have Vida Hasten, we have Södertälje, then Karlskoga, Björklöven, and Mora. Now, a couple of notes before we begin. We will be starting Linus Lundin, as he did have a better save percentage than Eric Hanzis did in roughly the same amount of games. I mean, there's not too much of a difference. Hanzis did play more, but he only played, I believe, 7 more. Yeah, 31 to 24. Not too much of a difference. And Lundin also had a lower goals against average and a much higher average rating. So we're going to go with him. And also, dressing will be Patrick Karlkvist. He is injured right now with a foot contusion, but as we've seen in the past with this tournament, basically one loss can put you at risk for dropping out of that top spot, which once again, there is only one winner of this round robin tournament. Only one team out of 6 can advance beyond this point. So we got to make sure all of our best players are playing at all times. So that includes Patrick Karlkvist. So even though he's injured, I would say an injured Patrick Karlkvist is better than Karlstrom or Ostrom or even Wernbloom, because during the regular season, these 3 were bad. Jacob Winkvist, I would have liked to see more out of for sure, but he's the best that we got out of these 4. So getting right into it here, we may as well view each game since, there's only 5 games, and if we by chance don't make it out of this, then that's going to be basically the only games that we're going to see this episode. Everything else is going to be just a bunch of off-season stuff. So we will go into this versus Vida Hasten. First period, we have a 3-0 lead. Goals by Winkvist from Rosdahl and Sawander. Then you have Olofsson from Mikowski and Eklof on the power play. And then Sawander from Winkvist. 2-point game for Winkvist so far and for Sawander. Second period, there you go. Winkvist with another goal from Sawander and Björklund. 1 goal for them, but it's 4-1 us. Third period, there you go. They got a goal from Falk, but we get the 4-2 win. Game against Södertälje, first period, that is what you like to see. Björklund from Eklof and Karlkvist, and then Winkvist from Karlkvist and Sawander, and then Johnson from Dyke and Björklund on the power play. Bengtsson for them, but we lead 3-1 going into the second period. Nothing doing, and the third period, Brickley with the goal on the penalty kill from Olofsson and Narain to get the 4-1 victory. There you go, Modo. And Patrick Karlkvist is officially back from his injury, meaning we're back to full health on our roster. Don't have to worry about him getting re-injured. Game against Karlskoga. First period, you have a 2-1 lead for Karlskoga. Gunnarsson and Imo, I don't know exactly how that's pronounced, but Brickley for us on the power play from Mikowski and Olofsson. Second period, Dyke with an unassisted goal. We're tied at 2 heading into the third, and the third period, we get the goal from Johnson, from Olofsson and Narain for the 3-2 victory. We are now 3-0 in the tournament. Let's go. Game against Björklöven. They only have 1 win so far. We need to make this one count. First period, alright, so we got a goal, but they got 2. Björklund from Johnson and Dyke on the power play, but then Granlund and Soder for them. Second period, another goal for them, Hutchings. And the third period, they get a goal by Lundberg on the empty net. And there's our first loss of the round robin tournament, and hopefully our only loss. And as you can see, with that loss, we have fallen out of first. Mora has overtaken us, as they are 3-0-1 currently. We are 3-1-0. So, as you can see, even 1 loss could potentially kill your chances at winning this tournament. That is why we need to absolutely make sure that we win this game against Mora, and they're the only team ahead of us. So if we win in regulation, then we will win this tournament more than likely. Actually, we will definitely win this tournament because there's only 5 games in the entire tournament. If we win in regulation, we get the 3 points. We jump up to 12 points. They get 11. If we by chance go to overtime, then they win the tournament no matter what. Because we're in a situation, in that case, where we can only get a maximum of 2 points. They get the 1 point from the OT no matter what, and they move on in the tournament. So we have to absolutely make sure that we win this in regulation. Come on, boys. Game against Mora. This is absolutely the biggest game of the season so far. First period, 2-2. Rosedal from Narain. Lundgren for them, twice actually. And then Rosedal once again. So Rosedal and Lundgren, the only goal scorers in this game, but it is 2-2. And the second Rosedal goal from Zawander and Alman. Second period, 3-3. Ernsting for them, and Bjorklund from Karlqvist and Eklof for us. Third period, biggest third period of the season. Oh boy, OT, and they're on the power play headed into overtime. I don't like that. Come on, Modo. Oh man, is it going to end in the shootout? Is it actually going to end in a shootout? And it looks like we won. But we absolutely could not afford to take that game to an overtime, and we did. They get the 1 point, and they qualify. Oh my goodness. We're so close, yet so far. Oh my goodness. This is a tough tournament to win because you basically cannot afford any kind of losses whatsoever, as we have just seen by this run that we have made. Only one regulation loss, and only one loss total, to be honest, and we did not win the round robin. That is unfortunate. You absolutely hate to see it, and that means our offseason begins now. So as we head into the offseason here, one thing to note is that Linus Lundin had a very solid playoffs, 8 average rating, and a 218 goals against average, a 913 save percentage. Safe to say, we need to bring him back next year. Now, a couple of other notes is that Oscar Hedman is retiring, so he will not be back next year. Eric Olsen is likely going over to North America, so we need to prepare to have a team without him. And also, Toby Enstrom, he really took a nosedive this season when you compare to the past couple of seasons when he had a 725 average rating and a 723. This year he had a 685 and his lowest point production yet. So maybe we have to consider releasing him as well. And one more thing, Fredrik Olofsson is unhappy, and that is because he doesn't think the team is in a financial state to fulfill his ambitions. And I'm guessing that has to do with, obviously, wanting to earn more money. So there is a chance that we may not be able to re-sign him either. That is unfortunate. He was definitely our best forward during the regular season with that 756 average rating and 40 points. And obviously there were guys, a couple guys with more points than him or equal to the amount of points that he had, but still, that's a huge loss if we're not able to get Olofsson back. So yeah, we're going to have our hands full this offseason. So let's get right to, I believe it is May 1st. That is the free agency date for this league. And look who's back. AIK has been promoted back to the Allsvenskan League. And who else but the one who took their place last year? Pantern has been relegated back to the third league. In other news, we have re-signed David Mikowski and Victor Berglund. Everybody else does not want to re-sign at the moment, and we are about 2 weeks away from free agency, so I don't think it's going to happen. We're just going to have to do the same thing as last year, where we approach all the players where we want back, and everybody else is going to have to find a new team, and we'll have to definitely get some new names in free agency. And hopefully we can make another run at the SHL. And the leading scorer is Jacob Lilia with Timra. The player of the year is Emil Westerlund of Tingsryd. The best defenseman is Jacob Stridsberg of Vida Hasten. The best goaltender, Jonas Johansson of Tingsryd. The best forward, Emil Westerlund of Tingsryd. Rookie of the year, Emil Svensson of Vida Hasten. And the coach of the year goes to Murabik Orkvist of Tingsryd. So it is May 1st, and our team has kind of imploded. We are down to 3 players, Ostrom, Berglund, and Mikowski. So as a result, we have obviously gone after a lot of our players. We have gone after Alman, Brickley, Sawander, Hanses, Olofsson, Bjorklund, Johnson, Rosedal, Lundin, Karlqvist, Eklof, Dyke, and Enstrom. And the reason I went after Enstrom is because he's actually pretty cheap. He was only asking for like $150,000, so I decided why not. So as of right now, even once all those guys sign, we will only have 2 goaltenders, we will have 4 defensemen, and we will have 10 forwards. So we still got a lot of work to do, even after all these guys signed. So let's go into free agency here and see what we can find. So a couple of guys I'm looking at here are Alexander Yunin and Kalle Johansson. I believe we were looking at Johansson last year, And he had a pretty solid year with Tingsryd, and obviously Tingsryd, they've been pretty good the past couple of years. And for Alexander Unen, he was with Vosteraz the past couple of years, and he had a 7 average rating consistently over the past 3 years, and he had 29 points this past year. So we are going to offer both of these guys to join our defensive core, and they do not want too much money either. So we will sign Unen, and we will sign Kalle Johansson. So one guy who I'm really hoping to get here is Per Lindgren. He spent the past season in the MHL with MHK Dynamo, and he had 54 points in 35 games, 729 average rating. He's 17 years of age. He's got an off the puck of 75. There's some fog of war stats that we can't see, but overall he looks pretty good, especially for his age. So we are definitely going to be offering for Per Lindgren here, and he wants a lot of money, understandably so. So we'll give him $375K to join our team for 1 year. So it looks like we're going to be stacking up on some young players here, because here you got Michel Johansson, and he's, as a 17-year-old, he's got positioning, he's got hitting, he's got checking, so he looks like he could be a really good defensive forward, which I think we really need. So we are going to go after him. He's a key player, and he wants less than $100,000, so he's cheap as well. No reason not to sign him. And then here you have a 15-year-old center in David Nielsen, who played in the U16 league with Linkoping last year, and he was phenomenal. 828 average rating in year number 1 for him, and then in year number 2, an 807. So, well, actually, this was technically year number 2 and then year number 3, but this was his year number 1 and his year number 2. So we're definitely going to offer him to join us, because that looks fantastic. Looks like we may have another Jake Winquist sort of situation on our hands here, given that he is only 15 years of age. We're going to definitely offer him. Another young guy that I really like here, Marcus Sower. He is 17 years of age, a defenseman, and he has 90 for determination, off the puck of 65, so he may be pretty good offensively. Speed of 87, so he'll be able to catch up to forwards, and he had more than a point per game in the MHL last year, and phenomenal average ratings all around, so we are definitely going to approach to sign him, and he wants less than $200K, so worth the signing for sure if we could get him. And one more guy who I really want to try to get is Frederick Forsberg. He's 25 years of age, got some really good attributes on him. He's been playing with Karlskoga the past 3 years. He's been good every single year. Point per game last year, 735 average rating. I want to try to sign him, presuming he's not too expensive, which he doesn't want too much. So we'll give him $275K for 1 year. So with that all being done, we have a lot of players waiting to be signed. So let's hope we can sign all of them here, and we'll see what happens. And Linus Lundin has rejoined your MODO Hockey, as has Kim Rosedal. Got Carlquist. Olofsson's back. Eric Hanses is also back. Johnson's back. Ekloff's back. Dyke is back. We have Kalle Johansson. Welcome to the team. We have Alexander Unen, who also signs. Daniel Sawander is back. Bjorklund is back. Brickley is back. Enstrom is back. Alman is back. David Nielsen has been signed. So we are still waiting on decisions from Michel Johansson, Marcus Silver, and Frederick Forsberg. And we're going to need some more defensemen here, because even after all these guys signed, we're only going to have 7 defensemen, I believe. We need at least 8. So we're going to go after Emil Karnestad here. He has some history with Kristianstad and Tingsryd in the current GM mode. So we are going to sign him to a pretty cheap deal here. $65,000. Not much risk here. And another defenseman we are going to sign here, William Ekmil. He was with Timra the first couple of years, and then Mora last year. He hasn't really gotten the chance, but he's had some pretty solid average ratings, so I would like to sign him. He's asking for a little much as far as money goes, but I'm going to hope that he accepts $150,000, because I'm not going to boost him any more than that. And we do need some decent replacement defensemen here, so we're going to get Gustav Jotterberg. He played in the SHL a couple of years ago with the Vaxio Lakers, so we are going to sign him. He wants to be a key player, though. No thanks, never mind. So instead, we're going to try to sign Ludwig Loeffel. He also wants to be a key player. Okay, so a lot of guys who want to be key players who aren't really key players. Here we go, Emil Hedstrom. He doesn't look that good, and he's not. But we do need a couple of backup defensemen, so we are going to sign him for $65,000. One thing we also need is a third-string goaltender, so we're going to sign Ludwig Westerberg here. He played with Karlskrona a couple of years ago. Actually, this past year, only 2 games with a 550 average rating, but I highly doubt he'll be playing much anyway. and he's not going to be getting that much salary compared to the rest of our players, so we will pay him $75,000 for 1 year. We have signed Kalle Johansson. We have signed Marcus Sower. We have signed Ludwig Westerberg. We have signed William Ekmel. And we have signed Emil Karnestad. We have also signed Emil Hedstrom. And there is Frederick Forsberg. So with all those changes, let's go over our roster before we end things off here. You have Eric Hanzies, Linus Lundin, and Ludwig Westerberg in goal. And on defense, you have Alexander Yunin, Kalle Johansson, Marcus Sower, Anton Aumann, Tobias Enstrom, William Ekmel, David Mikowski, Victor Berglund, Emil Hedstrom, and Emil Karnstad. And for forwards, you have Frederick Forsberg, Patrick Karlqvist, Frederick Olofsson, Kim Rosdahl, David Nielsen, Jonathan Johnson, Henrik Bjorklund, Daniel Sawander, Jacob Winkvist, Connor Brickley, Pontus Eklof, Sebastian Dyke, Michelle Johansson, and Tobias Ostrom. And of course, that's all subject to change based off what our player budget is at the start of next season. If it's anywhere below, let's say 4.5 or 4.4, we may have to dump off a little bit of salary depending on what happens, because, again, the balance seemingly has had an effect on our player budget over the past few years. I would not be surprised if our player budget goes down again at the start of next year. So with that, I will end things off here, and let me know what you guys think of the moves that we have made, and I'll see you guys in the next one when we start year number 4.